Today we're going to be talking about the major scale. There are many different kinds of scales. In my opinion, the major scale is the easier scale. So we're going to start with that one today for people out there who may not know it. A scale can be used for many different things. I like to play scales to help train my ear, to listen for what notes sound good together and work together and which ones don't. Scales are great finger exercises, whether you play guitar or bass or whatever stringed instrument you play. But it's also a great way to memorize your fretboard and learn your fretboard and your note names. That's essential to being a good bass player. Today we're going to talk about the A major scale. And I'm going to walk you through it really quick so that you can get it down. And then we may add a little something extra to it on the end. Okay? The first note I'm going to play is the 5th fret of the low E string. That's an A note. If you watch the previous video on learning the names of your fretboard, you'll find out that that was an A. If you haven't watched that video, you probably need to go back and check it out. Okay? So I'm going to play the 5th fret of the low E string. I'm going to move up a whole step, which is 2 frets, to the 7th fret. Okay? That's a B. So I started on 5, I moved up 2 frets, which is a whole step, and I played the B. I'm going to move up another whole step this time to C sharp, but instead of staying on the same string, I'm going to drop down to my A because it makes it a little easier. C sharp is on the 4th fret of your A string. The next note I'm going to play is a half step up, which is just 1 fret to the 5th fret, and that's a D note. And then I'm going to move up 2 more frets to the 7th fret, and that is an E note. Okay? Now I'm going to go down to the 4th fret of the D string, and this is an F sharp. I'm going to move up another whole step to the 6th fret, which is a G sharp. And then my last note is on the 7th fret, and it is an A. So I went from 1A to a higher octave A. 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 6, 7. Now you'll notice the major scale sounds kind of happy. That's what I like to think of when I think of major. I like to think happy. Okay? Now there's another way of memorizing major scales that I think is a little easier. And it's just memorizing the scale shape. And what I mean by that is the pattern of your hand, how it's moving. So this time we're going to play the same notes, but we're going to add some to the beginning. We're actually going to add 1 note to the beginning, and we're going to trail out some notes on the end and go further than just A to A. I'll give you an example. Instead of just playing or starting on the A note, the 5th fret of the E, I'm going to go back and play the note right before it, which is the 4th fret of the E string. That's a G sharp. And we determined earlier that G sharp was also in that scale. So we can start there. Okay? So I'm going to play 4, 5, 7 on the low E string. Pretty simple. 4, 5, 7. I'm going to drop down to my A string. I'm going to play the same pattern. 4, 5, 7. Now I'm going to drop down to my D string, but I'm going to reverse that pattern. I'm going to play whole step, half step, which would be 4, 6, 7, and then do the same thing on the D or the G string. 4, 6, 7. Now this time I'm playing more than 8 notes, and that's okay. No one said that a scale has to start someplace and end someplace. You can play as many notes that you want as long as they are notes within the scale. So anything above 8 notes, you're basically just repeating another note that you've already played, maybe an octave higher or an octave lower. Here would be that scale in regular speed. Notice how I utilized every string. And at some point I utilized every finger. That's important. You don't want to get used to playing scales with just 1 or 2 fingers. Then you're only working out 1 or 2 fingers. If you notice on this hand, I try to play every other note with either my first finger or my middle finger. Okay? You want to get those guys a workout. Again, that pattern is real simple. 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 6, 7, 4, 6, 7. Now again, we didn't start at A and we didn't end on A, but it's still an A major scale. All of the notes that we played are part of the A major scale. Now the cool thing about this shape is you can take this shape and you can put it anywhere on the neck and it'll work. Let's say whatever note I play with my middle finger, right now I've got it here on B, or I guess C sharp. So I want to play a C sharp major scale. So all I do is play the note right before it, half step, whole step, play the same pattern on the next string. On the D string, I'm going to reverse that to whole step, half step. On the next string, I'm going to reverse that again. So I got half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. It's a pretty easy way to remember the major scale. Like I said, practice doing it in different places. You can do it anywhere. It doesn't matter where you do it. Make sure you're using all your fingers. Try picking with as many fingers as you can if you use your fingers. Designate certain frets or strings to fingers. That really helps. Like I said, getting stuck using just one or two fingers while you're playing, it really limits you. It doesn't help you very much. You want all of these guys to be able to work evenly. You want them to work as a team. And the more fingers you can use and you can utilize, obviously the better your playing is going to be. The more intricate your playing is going to be. The major scale is pretty easy. Practice memorizing the note names of every note within each scale. I find myself sometimes rehearsing, and I'll actually say A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. I do that a lot. It helps me to memorize. That way when I need a note on the fly, really quick, I'm playing something, I need a G sharp, but it's easy for me to grab it. I've memorized that enough, I know where it's at. Okay, I hope this lesson was helpful. The next time around I think I'll try to teach you the minor scale. We'll work with some pentatonic scales, some more exercises, some that I've used for a long time and some that I think I may have made up. At least I think I made them up. But I hope this video helps. Sorry it's been such a long time since I've posted anything. You guys know to leave comments, send me emails if you got questions. I'll gladly help you out, okay? Good luck. Happy bass playing.